Well, y'all remember the backfire going through the tunnel, Texas Motor Speedway? Yep, I did something stupid. Now I'm paying the price. $65.50 is what it peaked at. 3.5 pounds of boost. Our target air fuel is about 13.5. Peaked at 25.4. Broke a piston on this one. This engine, gotta get another one together. So the new crazy plan is I'm going to take the 6.2 LSA engine out of my 2010 Cadillac CTS-V that I pulled out because it was puking oil out of all the gaskets. I want to see, I'll tear the 6.2 down a little bit, see what it looks like inside, and I think I'm going to gamble on throwing a fresh set of gaskets in it. Thing looks really clean. I don't see any visible signs of damage. We're gonna roll with it. I like it. Alright, welcome back to the channel. If you made it this far into this video, you know we're working on the OBS. Still waiting on a few parts. We can throw the engine together, but I think it's time to finally yank this one out, get the heads tore off of it, see if I can save them, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you've followed along and watched the build videos I've posted over the last couple months on getting the truck to this point before I blew it up. And if you have, then you kind of know what's in there. So the start of this video, I'm gonna put my headphones in, time lapse, and I'm gonna see how quick I can get it tore apart and the motor on the ground. I like to do that sometimes, kind of a challenge for myself. I'm thinking I can do it in about 2 hours, my goal anyways. It's all brand new and fresh, so it should come apart pretty easy. But we all know well and good that it probably won't. So yeah, sit back, enjoy the couple hours and a few minutes, I guess. It's currently about 3:45 in the afternoon, so we'll check back in a little while and see if I can accomplish this. Well, I'm gonna call that a successful 2 hours. It is currently 5:47, but it was out and on the ground 5 minutes ago. I just fought with finding the right block of wood, which that's not the right block of wood, but it's out. I made a heck of a mess with the coolant. That's okay, we can clean it up. So now I need to get the front accessories off. We'll pull this manifold off, and then we'll pop the cylinder heads, specifically this one. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what this thing looks like. Are we ready? Oh! Well, that's pretty much exactly what it looked like on the camera. But you can see that it was a consistent lean. You can see where it's burning there. I don't think I'm going to be able to save the head though. I mean, I can probably clean it up. Maybe. Make it work, but look at all the piston material in there. Very nice. Alright, let's pull the other head and then we'll spin it over and see if there's any cylinder damage. Yep. All right, what's behind door number 2? Same thing, definitely lean. It was probably about to start melting that one. That means that probably all of these pistons are no good. Wouldn't want to chance it anyways. Well, it doesn't look like it damaged the cylinder at all. It's got a little bit of roughness, but I don't know that it's awful. The good news is I wanted to reuse these heads because I thought we had ported and polished them. If you don't know what that means, that just means we opened up all of this, smoothed it out, and made it flow a little better. So, since these are not done, then I can use the other 823s I have, and we'll be in business. She wasn't smoking, but she was burning a little bit of oil, which is a good indication because the piston rings are fried. But maybe the bottom end seems to be moving good, so I don't think the rod's bent. Alright, well, I've got a mess to clean up. I don't really want to watch that, I'm sure. So good news is, I guess, is it could be a lot worse. The block is salvageable, which is good because I have something I would like to use the block for. Another project. The only other thing I have to check, because I'm not sure, I've got to check this flex plate. So you can see this one has 6 bolts. It's got 6 converter bolts. The LSA engine also has 6 converter bolts, but I need to verify that that pattern is the same as the 4L80 pattern, because we can't change flex plates because the LSA is an 8-bolt design. I think GM did that to, it's under a lot more stress and a lot more power. But I do believe that the converters are the same. I have to verify that, take some measurements, and I'll probably take this flex plate off and see if it'll bolt up to the torque converter on the 6L90 that come behind the LSA. So I'm gonna do that later. For now, I'm gonna clean up and call it a day. All right, back in the shop. It's another day. I'm gonna load up the block, the short block, and the heads. I'm gonna go over to my buddy JT's shop, and we're gonna put new cam bearings in. We're gonna pull the heads apart, clean them up, clean up the valves, change the valve seals, put some bigger, stiffer valve springs in for the bigger cam, and get all that dialed in. I don't have the proper specialty tools to do any of that, but he does, so he's offered to help. So I'm gonna get this block loaded up in the back of the truck. I'm gonna hit the road, head over to his shop, and get the next piece of the puzzle taken care of. All right, we're loaded up and hit the road. And I'll try to see if I can't film some of the process while I'm there. So I will see y'all in a little bit. All right, well, at my buddy JT's shop, S&S Performance. You're probably wondering, why are they doing head work on the tailgate of the truck? Well, 2 reasons. Reason 1, he's got a lot of motors he's building. He's got a couple cars he's working on. His shop's smaller than mine. He's got a little bit of floor space, but he was completely out of workbench space. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be sitting on the concrete rebuilding heads. So we backed the truck up to the door. Figured this is a perfect example of shade tree mechanics and do what you can with what you got. So we're gonna junkyard rebuild these set of heads on the tailgate of the truck. You can see right now I'm cleaning up, just taking a wire wheel on the drill and kind of lightly cleaning up the intake and exhaust ports. I already did the other head just because it's been a few years since I've done a set of heads and I kind of needed to refresh myself, so I figured I'll go ahead and finish that one and then I can video this one and show you all the process so you're not learning any bad habits. Don't worry about the brake clean on the concrete. I cleaned that up when I was done. Again, we're making do with what we got. There's also a pretty good chance of rain today, so we were kind of racing against the clock. Pulling off the old valve seals. They also, another funny thing is his air compressor's on the far other side of the shop, and his air line broke. Didn't have another one long enough, so we're running the spring compressor off the air compressors on my truck. Worked out really well. I didn't get it on video, but I cleaned up the valves with the bench grinder. The wire wheel just kind of knocked the rust off of them. Here we're lapping in the valve, so using valve lapping compound. It's basically a kind of a slightly metallic grit or grease. Put a little on the valve. You can spin them by hand. I like to spin them with the drill, real low speed. Basically just cleaning up where the valve seats, both on the valve itself and the cylinder head. Kind of getting rid of any oxidation there or any roughness. We're just trying to make sure that the valves seat and seal to the cylinder head. If they don't seat and seal properly, then you're not going to be building full compression, and if you're not building full compression, then your motor's not going to run optimally. So again, we're just trying to clean them up. Nothing fancy. Reusing the same valves. You want to make sure the valves go back in the same spot you pull them out of. Just going one end to the other and spinning them around a little bit and getting that valve lapping compound worked in there. And you'll kind of see a uniform, not a groove, but a kind of a shiny wear spot around the valve and the head. Once you get that, you clean everything off and you're good to go. I'm going to pull the valves back out one more time. Clean everything up real well. We're going to put the new valve seals in. It's always a good idea to change valve seals anytime you got the heads apart if you can, because it's real common for oil to kind of leak down in between the valve, and it can seem like you got a bad set of rings and you're burning oil, but it can be as simple as a valve seal. Just find a socket that fits over the seal real nice and lightly tap them in. We're going to throw the valves back in. Dip the valve stem, the head of the valve stem in a little bit of oil just to help it go through the new rubber seal. Alright, now the fun part. I'm going to put these new 660 lift springs in. Valve compressor works really well, but the air on my truck is not quite as good as it could be, so it kind of wanted to bleed off, and you got these two little, they call spring keepers, and they're basically two halves that have a groove cut in them, and there's a groove cut in the top of the valve stem. You got to squeeze that spring and retainer down and put those keepers in there and slowly let off without pinching your fingers. I did manage to pull a little blood out of one of my fingers on one of these valves here. Slow and steady, just work one end to the other. Right about here we start getting a little smarter and realize, we should turn this thing around and we can go vertically instead of horizontally. Maybe we can see a little better. That actually worked pretty well. You just want to make sure you get that keeper in there and that your spring is seated all the way down against the head. There's a hardened steel washer that goes down between the spring and the head. You got to put that on, and then your valve seal. That washer keeps your spring pressure from digging into the aluminum. You can see that one pop back off. Didn't quite have the keeper on there. Then you want to take a hammer and lightly tap them all and make sure they're seated. Now we got a nice, freshly tailgate rebuild set of cylinder heads. I'll take a razor blade when I get back to my shop and clean up the sealing surface a little bit. You got the new cam bearings in there. Alright, back from getting the engine work done. Let's get it out of the truck. Back on the stand. I'm going to go ahead and put the engine stand bracket on right now. Truck's probably too high, but it might be possible. You just slide it straight off of here onto the engine stand, not have to get the forklift out. I mean, I guess the forklift's already out, but it can be a little pain to start when it hasn't been started in a day or two sometimes. Yeah, that's not even close. Look at that, it started right up. All right, well, that'll be it for today. We got the cam bearings in, we got the heads rebuilt. Nice little junkyard tailgate rebuild. It's gonna do the job, I think. proof that you don't always have to have the fancy shop, fancy tools, and you can still get the job done and still have something to have some fun with and enjoy. So next step will be getting the order of all the parts with the gaskets and everything so that I can put it all together. That's really all I'm lacking. I've got to order a flex plate because the bolt pattern on the CTSV LSA torque converter is actually smaller than the 4L80 that's in the truck, so I have to get a conversion flex plate for the 8-bolt crank that will fit the 4L80. So that's ordered and on its way. It got a little hectic trying to get this done before the rain come back, and I'm used to working by myself, so I was rebuilding the heads. My buddy was putting the cam bearings in. Kind of tricky to film all of that. Looking back, I should have got my phone out and pointed on one and this camera pointed on the other, but hey, I'm figuring it out as I go. So really, cam bearings aren't that fun. It's just really a special rod. Special tool that kind of squeezes the bearing, and you knock this one out and you knock the new one in. But he got those changed. I got the heads rebuilt. We got the new turbo camshaft, so that should make a pretty big difference, I hope, over the LS9 that is in that motor. Because the LS9 is set up for boost, but it's set up for a supercharger, not a turbo. Superchargers, the boost comes on quicker than a turbo, so not really ideal. It should be a little bit better suited this time around, I hope. So we'll get those parts in the next video we'll get all this put back, the long block put together, maybe start putting it back in the truck. So thanks y'all for watching, and I will see you on the next one.